Lovable is the big thing right now, and people are talking about it like it's just the latest, greatest. But I'm going to tell you something that a lot of people don't know about Lovable. And that is that the context is that it's a visually stunning site, but none of the Lovable sites can be seen by the LLMs. So if you are building a site on Lovable, you're not going to get seen by the large language models and you're not going to get ranked. And here is why. Because it's a no-code React platform. And to the human eye, it looks gorgeous. But to AI LLMs, it is built as a single page application using client-side React. It's not seen. And the consequence is that when AI crawlers like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Google's SGIE attempt to read the site, they don't wait for JavaScript to load. Your JavaScript is not readily available for them to crawl. They're going to bounce if they don't see it. It's just showing no code. So if they don't see a code within the first 0.3 seconds, they're out of there. Done. All they see is a div ID and a root. That's it. Because the AI sees nothing, it could not cite or even show as an expert. You're not an expert using Lovable, which is funny because everyone's just, oh, Lovable's so great. It's really not. Including all of that, which is a problem for anyone who wants to get ranked by the AIs, which is really important when you are looking to become an authority or have a trust signal going to the LLMs. You can't even see any testimonials on the site. Okay, so this is really important when you are going to get ranked. If you are showing bad code to the LLMs, they're not going to rank you at all. They're just going to bounce. They're like, we're out of here. We don't even see it. It's all scattered. The schema is not written right. We don't understand it. We can't even code. We can't crawl it. So you're literally building something that the AI LLMs don't even want to go to. And this is the big thing about the AI audit that I share with people when I do their AI audit is that I go through their account and I go through their entire online presence and I say, where are you being ranked and where are you not showing up? And I give them a whole roadmap, which is really important because if you don't want to know that, I know it's not the greatest of news, but I need to know this in order to be better. And this is where there's a difference between an entrepreneur who really wants to get better and I don't want my feelings hurt. I don't want to know. I'm just going to keep going the way I'm going because I'm doing okay. All of a sudden, yeah, you're doing okay and things are all right. What happens when people start ranking what you should be? The strategy for GEO, which is generative engine optimization, is to migrate to a pure semantic HTML hosted on a static edge network. And this means that you are using light code like HTML5, you're using Node.js, you're using JavaScript. And this is really important to understand when you are creating your site now, because it's no longer enough to just be hosted like on Go High Level or ClickFunnels. You've really got to be ranking in a way that the LLMs want to read what you have to rank for. So I did this as a test run for myself, and I wanted to find out if I was right and if I was wrong. I only did a couple of pages because I didn't want to waste my time, and I wanted to figure out, is there something that I'm missing with Lovable? Is there something that I'm missing with these cool gadgets that we're seeing now that people are like glomming onto? My intention for this was to figure out, could I rank and will I be able to be found? Will this work? I use myself as a test model, and that's not always as easy as it sounds because you're like, oh man, this kind of sucks. What did I just do? What it did give me is a really good framework on how to look at other AI snapshots and other audits. And it gave me a whole new way of thinking about how do I adjust the audit so that I'm looking for these kind of things? Because if you don't even know what to look for, then how do you even know to look for it? And this is where using different types of tools, using different types of things that can break or can screw up or that don't get ranked is important. So I want to share this with you now because if you are thinking of using Lovable, you're you might want to reconsider if you want to be ranked by the LLMs. And I go through this a lot in the audits, and you can see where the audit is. In fact, the site is now currently on Lovable. I'm moving it over to a different HTML5 and I'm recoding the whole thing because I wanted to use this as my structure model to find out, am I wrong or am I right, or what am I missing? Am I missing something here that I'm not seeing? Because if I am, I don't want to be giving that information to a client who's paying me. I want to give them the information that I know is right because I've done it and I've made the mistakes and I've screwed up. And this is something that a lot of people are afraid to do, is make the mistakes and screw up, because if they look like, if they're screwing up, they look like they're a failure. And as far as I'm concerned, the stuff that I've done with Lovable is not a failure. It's just what I know doesn't work and what I know I'd never build on and I'd never use, because it's a waste, not only a waste of money, but it's a waste of time. And the whole back end of Lovable as a developer makes no sense to me, why I would be spending that much money to tell something that can't even get it right the first time what to do again. How many times do I have to pay to tell you what to do correctly and you can't even get it right? This is something that I've been dealing with for the past week or so. And I know that there's a lot more that goes into this as far as what I want to do with my site. And now I can see, okay, a lot more that I want to do is where I was headed before I actually got sidetracked and waylaid into this shiny object syndrome, because we all get waylaid in there. And this is something that can save you a lot of time and a lot of money. One of the things that I'm doing now is just hard coding, because it makes so much more sense for me to hard code and host it on my own and know that the code is correct, so that when I go to change something, I know exactly what I'm changing and I know exactly where it's at. Some people don't have that luxury because they're not that technical, or they just don't want to do it. They want to go with Go High Level at $97 or $297 or whatever it is. But there's limitations on all of those. So understand what you can and can't do. And if you want a AI audit so that you know where you're at before you start making all of these adjustments and all of these changes, I did an AI audit on myself. And I see what the problems are using Lovable and using these coders that look all great and they're really not. Now I can say, as a matter of fact, I've done it. I've actually done this and it doesn't work. And so I have proof. It doesn't work. This is where I can say having that AI roadmap, having that audit done on myself was so important for me. It took me a fortune and time. It really gave me a lot of information I didn't want to hear. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, oh man, I didn't know I was doing that. By the same token, I am now that much closer to where I really want to be, because I have another site that I hard coded because I knew I wanted to hard code that site. So I have two, and I am ranking great over there. So now I can piggyback off of that and I can utilize that as an interlink. And this is where it's going to be really fun to see how much more juice I get from a site that's already ranking with my name to a site that is not ranking yet, but will. So I want to share this with you. Having a site that works is really important. The biggest takeaway that I can say is, if your expensive site is showing up as empty to the LLMs, and the AI engines are trying to recommend you, and you're using these heavy page builders and all this really cool glommy stuff that's like super sexy, and these fancy frameworks and all this other cool stuff without the server-side rendering, you're going to be invisible to search and somebody else is going to take over. This is why having a plain, simple, easy to read, easy to use site is so very important. Realizing that you might have had a lot of cool graphics and everything else on there, and you can still have that, but plain and simple is really where it's at, especially when it comes to just getting your point across. So now I know exactly what I can put in and what I don't want to put in and how I want it to be rendered, so that now my site will have exactly what I need. Yes, this is going to take me a lot longer because I'm going to have to code the CSS and the HTML5, and it's going to be a little bit more intensive, instead of hosting pictures and things like that where I was doing that. Some of the things that I've learned on this are really important, and now I know what to look for. But I'll tell you, for what that AI audit did for me and did for my other client, it's so important. Now I understand even more why you need to have this roadmap right now. You need to have a roadmap where the AI models can read your trust signals. AI models cannot easily read trust signals inside flat images during a standard crawl. They can't read client testimonials if they're in a flat image because there's no JavaScript. So like, how are they going to read anything? There's no code. This is really important. Hopefully it came off well and you guys understand this. Lovable, I would not be using at this time because their code is not up to par for the AI LLMs. And that's what I'm going to tell you in this one. Make sure to subscribe and leave a comment so that I know that you enjoyed this. And if you like this kind of content, make sure that you let me know in the comments below. I really enjoy doing this and helping you out. So have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video.